Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeex. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. Ladies and fellas, welcome to another episode of Historic Yu-Gi-Oh! A learning journey, and this time we are going to be tackling the starter deck Yugi and starter deck Kaiba evolution version. So yeah, and since I lost last time, I got to pick, and I picked the Yugi evolution. Not only because I played Blue Eyes a couple times already, but you will also see there's very clearly another reason, which is it's pretty much better in all aspects. So without further ado, let's get to the set or deck, I guess, first deck breakdowns this time, and see what these decks have in here. So most of the cards that we will have in these starter decks are already cards that we are very familiar with, so there shouldn't be too many surprises, and we should get through this pretty swiftly. It is incredibly hot. Anyways, starting with the Yugi, we have Dark Magician, we have Mystical Elf, so we have access to 2k walls. Summon Skull makes its return once again, will be the premier tribute summon of the Yugi deck. Got the Fierce Knight, probably won't show its face, unfortunately. Giant Soldier Stone, another 2k wall. Better attack stat than a Mystical Elf, so probably I'll favor that over it. Then we have a couple 1700 beaters in Neo and Warrior Die Gruffer. Dark Blade is the strongest, I believe, vanilla non-tribute monster. Sorry, I blanked for a second there. In the Yugi starter deck. So that's something to maybe consider because of the stat line. Then we have Wall of Illusion, which is 1850 wall when it is attacked by a monster. After damage calculation, the monster that attacked it gets returned back to the hand. We've seen this before. And keep in mind the stat line when we go to the Kaiba structure, or starter deck rather, because it'll be pretty important. Man-Eater Bug also makes its return. Pops a monster on the field on flip. Sengen searches 1500 or less attack monsters from your deck when it's sent from the field to the graveyard. Kribo, also something to maybe consider, although there will be a card a little bit later that probably is more appealing if you want to go for something like that. Giant Rat, also here. Sonic Bird, in case you want to play the Blackluster Soldier, who is already rearing its head there. In case you want to play it, Sonic Bird is here, but I doubt we're going to go that route. Zombie of the Dark also makes its return, a 2100 attack normal summon that cannot attack directly, and when it destroys the monster by battle, it loses 200 attack. Also, even with this effect, very important stat line to keep in mind. Royal Magical Library, the third and I believe the final 2k wall in the deck. No attack, but actually has an effect. So each time a spell is activated, place a spell counter on this card when it resolves, and max 3, and you can remove the 3 to draw 1 card from it. Then we get to the spells, and this is where things start getting pretty crazy. So the Yugi deck is once again the more control focused, and the Kaiba will be more beatdown focused, although you will see, we'll elaborate a little bit on that later. So there's a lot of power from removal and control tools here. Dark Hole, obviously just a complete field wipe on monsters. Fissure destroys a face of monster your opponent controls with the lowest attack. Then Monster Reborn included in both of these decks, where you already know what the card does. If you've been watching the series, you know that I absolutely love playing with this, so can't Can't wait to get to play with Monster Reborn again. A Change of Heart as well included in both of the decks. You just gain control of your opponent's one of your opponent's monster for the turn. Last Will also makes its return, and with Dark Hole, that's something to maybe consider. Card Destruction, both players discard their hands and then draw the same number as they discarded. Interesting, usually this would be a pretty easy auto-include, but as we get to the Kaiba deck, you'll notice that we might actually not want to run this because of the remove trap, sure, but there is MST here, so that will probably be our premier back row removal. Axe of Despair, just a 1000 attack boost equip with basically no drawbacks. You can recycle it by distributing a monster, but I don't think we will be doing that. Malevolent Nuzzler as well makes its return, but probably don't care about that because we have Axe of Despair. Mystic Plasma Zone as well. The Kaiba deck actually has some powerful darks as well, so I don't think we'll be playing that because of that. And then Source of Revealing Light as well, another very powerful soul card. Also lets us know if Jeex is setting monsters, lets us know and gain intel on what those are. And then, funny enough, Pot of Greed also makes its return here, and for whatever reason, this is only included in the Yugi starter. So the Kaiba deck does not have access to Pot of Greed, which is kind of crazy. And finally, some really powerful stable traps that we've already seen. Trap Hole, when your opponent normal flips a monster with 1000 or more attack, you target the monster and destroy it. Boboku is what I was alluding to earlier when I was talking about Kuribo, so this will probably be just a better replacement for that. Magic Jammer, you can discard a card to negate the activation of a spell card and destroy it, and then Seven Tools of Bandit when it's trap. Does the same thing for traps, but instead of discarding a card, you pay 1000. This is nice because it gets to not only counter some of the powerful spell cards that will be probably the core of the Kaiba starter deck, but also this, if we want to, let's just pitch something like Summon Skull to the Grave, that we get Monster Reborn if we have it in our hand. Seven Tools of Bandit will be less good in this, and you'll see why when we get to the Kaiba starter deck, but yeah, there aren't many traps that we actually care about there. And finally, something to consider, Raigeki Break, just in case we didn't have enough removal already. Raigeki Break, just you can discard and then target a card on the field. It doesn't matter whether it's back row or monster, and pop it. So we have a ton of just powerful staples here, and just by putting all the staples in, I think we would already get like 60 cards, so definitely we'll have to see what we want to actually play there. But then let's take a look at the Kaiba starter deck right off the bat. Obviously, Blue Eyes White Dragon is there. Then we have Battle Ox as one of the better beaters, not the best beaters. We'll get to those when we get to them. Here we go. There's the first one, and actually there's the second one as well. So Login and Opticlops are 1800 vanillas, and those will be the premier normal summonable beaters of the Kaiba structure deck. And Dragon Dwelling in the Cave also gives the Kaiba starter deck access to a 2k wall, if that's something that Jeex wants to play. Lusher Dragon 2, also a 1-bit monster, but unfortunately smaller than Summon Skull. Lord of D, obviously back here as well. A Trap Master if you desperately need some trap removal, which unfortunately in this deck will be more scarce. Hein as the equivalent to Maneater Bug here, which obviously as the equivalent to Sangan. Mystic Tomato is in the Kaiba starter instead of the a Giant Rat. Spiritrue can get boosted to 2k, but you need to pitch specifically a Dragon Monster, which could help you get Blue Eyes to the Grave for some of your powerful spells that we'll get to in a bit, but might be too gimmicky to actually play. Paladin of White Dragon, a White Dragon Ritual also here, something maybe more relevant to actually consider. Then we get to the spells. Fissure also in the Kaiba starter deck, as well as Monster Reborn, so something to reoccur your Blue Eyes White Dragons from the grave. Fluid Summoning Dragon here as well as Change of Heart. And Kaiba also gets access to Soul Exchange in addition to Change of Heart. But I think playing both would end up being too bricky. So I think Jeex will just end up opting for a Change of Heart. Unless he really wants to get that Blue Eyes on the field with my monsters. In particular, Tribute to the Doomed, actually one of the better cards in here, since it targets a monster on the field and destroys it by discarding a card, and discarding it will be basically the only way that Jeex can easily get stuff like Blue Eyes in the grave. So Tribute, and probably will end up seeing that. Rush Recklessly, the best attack boost in the deck. Megamorph also an option to consider, and then we get some of the better cards in the deck. So Nobleman of Crossout will be, I feel like, really key in dealing with, because we have a lot of very good defensive monsters, stuff like Wall of Illusion, all the 2k walls, Man-Eater Bug. If he Noblemans a Man-Eater, we will then have to banish all of our Man-Eaters, and then obviously Jeex also gets to see our deck and what we are working with. But even as a 1-for-1 against Wall of Illusion, because of the stat line I alluded to earlier, Wall of Illusion is 1850 defense, and Zombie Ra, after beating over something, is still 1900. And Lodging and Opticlops, the two premier beaters, are unboosted, both just 1800, so they can't beat over those things. So for something like that, Nobleman will be really core, I feel. And the Premature Burial, arguably the best, maybe not the best, one of the better exclusive cards still in this Kaiba starter deck. Like we already said, the hardest part will be actually getting stuff in the grave, because you Premature Burialing something like Lodge-In and Opticlops doesn't feel like a very powerful play. So obviously your premier target will be Blue Eyes, but your only way of getting that in the grave is stuff like Premature Burial. Not Premature Burial, sorry, Tribute to the Doomed. So yeah. Still something to definitely look out. And then Shadow Spell can be used to basically lock something like Summon Skull on the field. And with Shadow Spell's attack reduction, something like Opticlops can actually just exactly trade with it. And then if Jeex happens to have his own monster points, he can then take our Summon Skull. And then a Trap Hole also here as well. Dust Tornado. Something to maybe consider if you're really desperate for back row removal. And then Jar of Greed is the equivalent of Pot of Greed. I don't know why they did that. They decided to give Jar of Greed to this deck and Pot of Greed to Yugi's deck, when in the past usually just okay, let's just give both pots. So that feels a little bit weird. And definitely, we have already talked about it a little bit, but the Yugi deck, in the past, the starter episodes feel like we are at approximately the same starting line. Maybe one is a little bit better than the other, but this one definitely feels like the Yugi starter just has everything so much better than the Kaiba starter deck. So it feels like Jeex will be basically trying to catch up on us the whole time. So, but if that's something if I somehow manage to lose this, then that's gonna be one of the biggest chokes of the Historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey thus far. But well, I said this will only take a little bit. It's been 13 hours. I thoroughly apologize. I ended up talking about basically all the relevant cards. So although it was short bits, it was a lot of them. So I apologize for that. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the set breakdown. And next, let's see what we can cook up with this. So I will see you all in the deck building zone.
Okay, so we're back at it with starter decks. The last time we did was Yugi. Not Yugi, Joey Pegasus, I think. And Joey Pegasus seemed like it was pretty interesting. It felt like it had more things going on in it than the original Yugi Kaiba decks did. And I'd say this has the same thing, where this feels like it has more going on. But after playing this, I ended up realizing that no, Kaiba doesn't really have anything more going on. Sure, you have more cards like Mystic Tomato and Witch of the Black Forest and other similar cards that have more effects rather than having more non-effects monsters in your deck. And overall, overall, I feel like the deck is more technical than it was originally, but at the end of the day, it's still the same core principle of you play Legion, you play a 1.k beater, and then you try to get Blue Eyes at some point. But the biggest issue is that you can't get into Blue Eyes because your opponent is playing Yugi, and because they're playing Summon Skull, they're always going to be on tempo. They're always going to get Summon Skull on the field. So yeah. I don't think we need to cover these in much detail because we've seen most of them. Hein, again, bounce one card on the monster on the field and return it to the hand. Mystic Tomato, if this card is just a battle, special summon a creature or monster with 1.5k or less attack. Dark monster with 1.5k or less attack in face of attack position onto your side of the field. That's a really good card. You go like 3 Mystic Tomatoes into a Witch of the Black Forest, and that means you'll have a decent amount of sustainability. Witch of the Black Forest, it's a similar effect where you add a card with 1500 or less defense, a monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. That's about it. Then we have Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is, you know him, Legion, you know him, 1.8k, 1.8k. Another 2k wall, Change of Heart. We've seen this card like a couple of times now. Fissure, destroy the lowest attack monster in your ports of the field. Yeah, Monster Reborn needs no introduction. Open a crossout, anti-flip monster effect, banish a face down monster on the field. Yeah, on the field. And then if it's a flip monster, you banish all cards from each player's decks with the same name. Premature Burial. We haven't seen this card since the Sewi Jinzo, I think Pharaonic Servant or something. Pharaonic Guardian, one of those two. And it's still pretty good, but overall, because the fact that we have MST in the set, it's not as powerful as it was in that set. Rush Recklessly, I feel like this card is the most important in terms of like aggressive play with this deck. And it's the only way to dealing with Summon Skull for like, or well, not the only way, but it's one of the ways you can deal with Summon Skull. Now, Tribute to the Doomed. Again, we haven't seen this card in a while, a few sets now. And it has the basic effect of discard one card and target a monster on the field and destroy it. One monster on the field and destroy it. Really simple, really good, really effective. Works wonders against Summon Skull because it goes 2 for 2 effectively. Shadow Spell. Shadow Spell is another card, much like Rush Recklessly, that I feel like is going to be useful against Summon Skull because you use it on Summon Skull, and the Summon Skull can now be traded into by Legend, which means you go 2 for 1 again, or 2 for 2 again because they had to sack for it, but still, and they'll have access to Monster Reborn afterwards and so on and so forth. I think it's going to be really hard fighting the Yugi deck with this. Then Trap Hole, same as usual. You flip it when your opponent summons a monster with 1005 normal, or flip summons a monster with 1000 or more attack. You destroy it. Simple as. It's really strong. It's really powerful. Then we have the side deck, which is mostly just the same things as before. Then we have a tech card in Burst Breath, which I was originally intending to play with another card that I completely forgot the name of currently. But it says to be one Dragon type monster on the other side of the field, and destroy all face-up monsters on the field whose defense is less than or equal to the attack of the tributed monster had on the field. So you would just destroy all monsters with Blue Eyes. And then we have Dust Tornado, which is a trap Mystical Space Typhoon. It just simply allows you to destroy one spell trap on the field your opponent controls, and then you set one spell trap from your hand to the field. It's really good, really powerful. It's in the side deck because the fact that if my opponent happens to be playing a lot of Spellbinding Circles, a lot of Acts of Despairs, I'll probably consider setting into these. Then we have Light of Intervention, which prevents my opponent from setting monsters. All monsters that are tried to be set will be summoned in defense position instead. Then we have a third copy of Shadow Spell and third copy of Shadow Spell and Trap Hole, and that's about it. This is a really simple format. I don't think it's gonna be much more complicated in terms of like pure play than the original Yugi Kaiba is. But unlike the original Yugi Kaiba, I think there's more interaction that's gonna happen between the decks because of the fact that there's simply more cards to play, and more cards that go 1 for 1, 2 for 2, and so on and so forth. And I think that's going to be interesting. I feel like this is going to be a complete wash for Weebfox because I think the Yugi deck is just outright better, outright way stronger. But we'll see how that goes. So I just think good luck. Yeah, good luck with the games.
Alrighty, guys and gals, welcome back. And here is what we will be playing today. And I know what you're thinking. Why do you refuse to play 40 cards? And first of all, great point. But second of all, shut up. I don't know. I feel like I could just play one last Trap Hole and call it a day, but I guess that's my brand now. But regardless, all of the cards here should look pretty familiar to you, so this probably won't take very long. But regardless, let's do a quick rundown of the deck card by card and see what everything does. So first of all, our premier beater will be Summon Skull. This will be the way we win the game. We will just try to respond and answer Jeex' board as long as we can get Summon Skull on the field, which honestly I feel like with our like huge advantage cards like Pot of Greed and stuff like that, and him having to either find the right spell or actually go negative to deal with stuff like Wall of Illusion, Man-Eater Bug even, I feel like shouldn't be too hard. Then we have 3 Sangan. This is to thin our deck. We can go into other Sangan. We can find even our 2k walls with Sangan. We can go into Wall of Illusion, Man-Eater Bug. Basically everything that isn't our 2 beaters we can find with Sangan. So I just feel like that's a great way to thin the deck. Then we have 3 Man-Eater Bug. Basically, unless he specifically noblemans this, it will always result in a 1/1 for us. We can just set this turn 1, whatever he summons and swings into it. We can then just flip this and pop whatever he's swinging into it. And then we'll have the advantage going into the next turn. So, yeah, you know what Man-Eater Bug does. Wall of Illusion, already sort of explained. It will be really hard for Jeex to deal with because of its 1850 stat line in particular, since unboosted optic lobs and lodging can swing over it, so just a really good wall to set. Royal Magic Library, another great wall to set. It's just a 2k wall. I decided to play it over Mystical Elf and Giant Soldier of Stone, which I have in the side. I have 3 Giant Soldier of Stone in case I feel like I need more monsters or more walls. I decided to play Royal Magical Library because unboosted, basically nothing in Jeex' deck can actually swing over this. So he might swing into it, it can flip, and we have so many spells, and Jeex also has a lot of powerful spells that we want to be using. So actually getting to use the effect is not out of the realm of possibilities at all. So that's why I figured I would run Royal Magical Library over the other 2k walls. And then Zombie of the Dark, just to have a normal summonable beater to us that we can actually combat his board with, so we don't always have to use our removal or just sit in a standstill. So Zombie Ra 2100, so he can even swing over stuff like Dragon Dwelling in the Cave if Jeex tries to run that. And even if we beat over one thing, we can still use Zombie Ra to beat over stuff like Lodge-In, stuff like Opticlops afterwards. And then if it gets to beat over 2 things and then we get to beat it for a Summon Skull, well, it's just going to be absolutely bonkers. So those, along with the 3 Giant Soldier of Stone in the side, is our monster lineup. And then I feel like the star of the show is the spells, because basically all of these are absolutely cracked. So 3 Pot of Greed, 3 Monster Born. I don't think I need to elaborate on these. Some of the craziest cards in the history of this game. 1 Change of Heart. We have 2 more in the side in case I feel like I want them more. But I feel like with us having access to so much removal already, we can answer Jeex' board most of the time, and then when we get a Summon Skull, if we happen to find our 1-off Change of Heart and he has something, then we can just push for even more advantage that way. Then 3 Dark Hole. I was considering only playing 2, but I figured since we want to be responding his boards anyway, he has a lot of ways of actually spell summoning stuff with stuff like Premature Burial and Monster Reborn. He might be able to put multiple bodies on the board in 1 turn, so then we can use Dark Hole to blow him out in those scenarios. 2 Fissure, 1 more in the side. This is just a very good target removal. Your opponent has a face-up monster that, and whatever has the lowest attack, we can pop it with Fissure. Most of the time it should be one of his, because I'm assuming he's just going to be playing the like actually good beaters. Maybe stuff like Hanehan and the Dragon Dwelling in the Cave to set, but still, this is just an easy way to pop whatever he might have. If he only has 1 monster, then obviously it just destroys that thing. 3 MST. I'm not too worried about a lot of the back row that he has, but Premature Burial is an insanely powerful card. Although he can only take his own monsters with it, and he can't use that to steal our Summon Skull, I still feel like having MST for stuff like Premature Burial, Rush Recklessly even, is going to be good enough. So it's just a very powerful catch-all back row removal. 2 copies of Shows You Revealing Light. Once again, we have the third copy in the side deck. This is just here to act as pseudo removal. This basically will just stall the game until we can get our removal tools, find something to like Zombira to maybe beat over, something like a 2k wall to stabilize. I feel like it'll just be really good in general against Jeex' more aggressive deck. So, well, yeah. For most of our side deck, it's just extra copies of cards that we are already running. 1 Axe of Despair, we have another one here. This is basically, it feels like a win more card because with it, Summon Skull can beat over literally anything. But it also, interestingly enough, means that if Jeex manages to establish Blue Eyes White Dragon, and we have a Zombira in hand, or probably not on the field, but if we have a Zombira in hand and this thing, we can actually beat over the Blue Eyes with Zombira of the Dark, since it'll set it to 3100, which is absolutely insane. But mostly this is just here to, whenever we get to establish our Summon Skull, we can then boost it up with Axe of Despair to basically have an overbeatable, that's not a word, monster. So yeah. 2 Magic Jammer, once again, 1 more in the side deck. This is to combat Jeex' powerful spells like Premature Burial, Monster Reborn. And even if he tries to change of heart, stuff like Summon Skull, we have that for that as well. I only ended up running 2 since I feel like the discard cost is steep enough. So we basically never need more than 1, because if we have 2, it'll be very unlikely that we actually have the mats to use them both. So I ended up running 2. And then, like I said, I could only run 1 Trap Hole, but let's keep the brand and not play 40 cards. We have 3 Trap Hole, and although it's only a normal summon, I still feel like running this at 3 copies is good, because most of the stuff that he actually wants to get on the field, like Opticlops Lodge-In, will be normal summoned and will be big enough to pop with Trap Hole, so that's why I ended up running all 3 copies. For the rest of the sideboard that we already haven't covered, we have 1 Card Destruction. I only have 1 here, and I still don't, this was basically, okay, I don't think I need anything else in my side, so I'm just gonna throw this in here, because I think I alluded to it in the set breakdown already. Jeex having access to both Monster Reborn and Premature Burial means that he will most likely get more out of Card Destruction, and in addition to that, we have access to Pot of Greed and he doesn't, so we are already cycling through our deck at a decently good pace, which I don't think Jeex will be able to match. So I feel like this would ultimately just give him more advantage, which means that we most likely won't see it, but I still wanted to have 1 here just in case I feel like, okay, I actually want to give it a shot. Last will he's here because we can tribute something for Summon Skull. We can tribute something of Jeex's with Change of Heart, even if we are in a position where we need to Dark Hole. All of that puts Last Will online, but it's still, since it has to be your turn, and we don't really have scenarios in this set where we will be crashing cards, since we will not be playing the same cards. So that's less likely to occur. I feel like Last Will is, I didn't want to main deck it because of that, and that's also why I only have 1 copy. For the rest of the side, I didn't really know what to have here, so I have 2 Waboku here in case Jeex is playing something that gets to really turbo out monsters on the field a lot, like if I miss something where he actually has a way of really building up his graveyard and can maybe use Premature Burial and Monster Reborn at the same turn, then normal summon something, maybe there's like a big blow turn that would deal a lot of damage to us, then Waboku is nice there. It can also be used to just simply protect something, like a wall or whatever we feel like, if we can establish Summon Skull next turn, so it's just a pretty versatile card. And finally, I just have 2 Raigeki Break here, just if I feel like I need more removal. Raigeki Break is just a catch-all for that, so that's the a deck that we will be running today, and yeah, I don't think I have anything else to really say. So hopefully we don't choke. Hopefully this episode goes as it should go. But I don't know if Jeex has come up with something super crazy. We will see. But I'm pretty excited to be playing it with Monster Reborn again. You guys already know how that card is for me. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the matches, and I will see you all there. Ladies and lads, welcome back to the Historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey, and it is time for another starter / structure deck episode. So this time we're going to be piloting the Yugi and Kaiba evolutions. We were talking about it a little bit before we started recording, but how do you feel about your chances today, Jeex?
I'm gonna get shit stomped. Oh, we got demonetized. No.
Don't worry, this is later. You're allowed to swear after. I think it's like the first 8 minutes, and I wouldn't worry about demonetization too much.
Okay, good. I got kind of spooked there for a sec.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I would definitely agree that I think this is probably the biggest mismatch that the starter decks have had thus far, for sure. But you know, it's not the quality of the deck; it's the quality of the pilot combined with that. So
that's true.
We'll see how this goes, but I wish you the best of luck.
Best luck. Good luck. I don't like this already.
I threw rock last time, you didn't, so I figured this time you might be a rock thrower, and it's been a long time since I got to do this, but I would like to start off with a Pot of Greed.
Yeah.
And then I will follow up with another no. Unfortunately not.
Just summon Zombura and have it be over with, over and done.
I think I will just set and yeah, I will just T-pose on you and pass it back.
Okay. I'm gonna activate Nobleman of Crossout.
Alright, it is a... what is it? It is... actually, I can just do it. It is a Man-Eater bug, so I will go to my... oh yeah, and it is both players reveals their main deck, yeah. So go ahead and look here, and I will banish the rest of the...
Yep. And how did I reveal this thing? Show, there we go.
Yeah, there should be a show. And I will banish my bugs. They're gone.
There you
go. Alright, so damn, you're playing a Premature Burial and Monster Reborn. Who could have seen this coming?
How unexpected.
I think it's got a target waste of it loses seminar, it cannot attack or okay. It was just like, it's all stuff that it's like, okay, yeah, obviously, and then it's like, oh, I don't think I've seen this before.
That's like the best card I can use against your deck.
It's fair enough.
It baits MSTs.
Yeah.
Because the MST is kind of a problem since it basically serves as monster removal if I have Premature Burial out on the field.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's
why I only have one copy of it. Yeah.
But yeah. And yeah.
Then I will summon Opticlops.
Opticlops
and I go face.
Oh, Opticlops is going to the grave. Sorry.
Okay. Then I will activate Monster Reborn.
He's coming back.
And then I will do the thing instead.
Yeah, this one is fine. I will take 1800. Okay. Draw stand by main.
Mystical Elf face down. Let's go.
I will
Zombura
set a monster and just pass on that, actually.
Wall of Illusion is such a fucking crime, dude.
There are so many crimes in this deck, I will not lie. I mean, not just crimes per se, but like specifically against your deck.
I'm gonna set this face down, by the way, and we'll pass.
Yep.
It's like... If that's Wall of Illusion, it's -1. If it's Mystical Elf, it doesn't matter. and the information isn't important enough for me at this stage.
Yeah, there aren't many cards that you care about, like me flipping face up or having face down.
Yeah, I already got all three of them that I actually cared about. So
yeah, I think. How much am I scared of a? Oh wait, never mind. I forgot. Your deck doesn't have dark holes. It's just my deck.
yeah.
I will just set and pass it back.
Was I playing Blue Eyes again? I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were.
Okay, thanks. Legitimately forgot just now.
That's one thing, like, I was pondering whether to set one of the cards that I have currently on the field set or my Man-Eater Bug turn 1, because it was like, I kind of want to keep Man-Eater Bug later, but I figured I might as well be greedy and, well,
You got punished him. That's
what
why
a
I have 3
surprise.
copies of Crossout and 2 Fissures and something else, Trap Holes.
Yeah, and like Crossout is still like really good, even if it doesn't hit a flip, because it's like, how else?
1 for 1.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't have basically better ways of dealing with stuff like Wall of Illusion, even some of the 2K walls.
Yeah.
Now the question here is, do I want to extend more into this? I actually think we're pretty chilling here, so I'll just set another background, pass it back.
Dude, what the fuck?
Why did you summon another monster, man? You could swing over both of my things and then swing face with the last one. Oh, this is exciting.
We're in a stalemate here, buddy.
This is kind of a stalemate, you're right. I'll set another background pass. This is truly the peak of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay.
I'm afraid because you have Prematures and Monster Reborns, like, if we just do this, and then you get to discard down to hand size, and you can pitch a Blue Eyes and then Reborn it, that's gonna be pretty scary.
You're reminding me of the fact that I didn't do the Manicore loop.
Yes, also that. It is pretty sad, because it would have been so sick.
So in Invasion of Chaos, I had the opportunity to use 3 copies of Magicore in 1 turn, if I just waited 1 turn.
Yeah, we realized
like
that
for
after, I think, the aftermath of the set, but Jeex had the opportunity to do the cool Manticore loop. I think you talked about it in the deck breakdown as well.
Yeah, I discussed it in the deck breakdown, but I didn't get to do it, so I was kind of mad afterwards.
Which, by the way, it was pretty impressive how quickly you managed to render your deck that time. I was surprised, because I think mine took like 13 minutes, and I was talking a whole lot on nothing. So, but yeah,
I literally zoomed through that because I was like, I need to get this over and done with. I just got a notification somewhere.
Yeah, it's all good.
I think I'm just gonna set 1 card and I'm gonna pass.
Huh.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think I want to see what that is. Let's activate Source of Revealing Light. I want to see what the face is.
I flip my Hane face up.
Yep. What would you like to bounce?
Bounce my Hane.
Alrighty.
Why wouldn't I just bounce it? Because, like, I don't know what you have face down, and this is my 1 removable that I have right now.
Yeah, that is very fair. That is very fair.
And, like, if I get rid of it on the board, it means that you have less targets to hit with Dark Hole.
Yeah.
So it's overall worth.
I think with that, I will just pass it back.
Okay. I'm gonna activate.
And is this...
Noble Mana Crossout.
Yeah, give me a second. In face of your opponent's turn. Yeah, so this is gonna be
1 after this.
Yeah, gotcha. So the middle one?
Yep.
Yeah, so it is, does this always banish? Yeah, so it is a wall of illusion, and this time we will not misplay with this, and I won't banish all my walls.
That's perfect. That's good. I'm glad we've learned now.
This is why it's called a learning journey. Yeah, and that's gonna be turn 1 on swords, and I actually think in your end phase I will pop the back row that you just said. Oh, okay, I like to see that. Draw standby main. I think I will set another monster face down. And let's keep our back row full. I'll set another back row, and I will pass on that.
I will go standby main. I will just summon Lajin.
Yep.
And I will pass.
Alright, turn 2 on Swords of Revealing Light.
I
standby main.
know you have Dark Hole, but if we're gonna go even on that Dark Hole, and
actually I think am I that scared of it?
of what?
I'm a little bit scared. I'll pop your other back row. I think this is the trap. Oh, it's a fissure. Alright.
That's why I said earlier, because it was useless in my hand, and I didn't want to go and discard cards.
Yeah, fair enough. But what I will do now, I will tribute the Sangan for a summoned skull.
Yeah.
And Sangan will add to my hand a monster with 1500 or less attack. So I think, yeah, I will add.
So that's Wall of Illusion then. Okay.
Yep, I was just gonna say, I think I will just add Wall of Illusion to my hand.
Yep.
And then let's go battle phase, and I will swing over the Opticlops. He's been here for a while. I think he's served his purpose. And
minus 700.
I think actually we can finally keep a slot in our back row. But you have so many cards in hand. That's scary.
I'm gonna
and Sword is going away after this turn.
Can I activate this then?
Yeah. Summons Call to the Grave. And this is where your monster born.
I will set a card. I wish I had my monster born, but I got mad. Turn 1.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Rage.
And Swords is gone. Well, stand by main.
Bye, Sword.
I think what we will do. Yeah, sure. I would like to attempt to Monster Reborn.
Yep.
And I would like to target my own Summon Skull.
Yep.
And anything on the summon?
Nope. It's a special summon, remember?
Fair enough, fair enough. I forgot Trap Hole is only for normals. That's a good point.
0 interaction.
Yep. Chance of you having the other fissure are pretty low, but I actually think I want to play around. So I'm actually going to elect to normal summon my Wall of Illusion.
Okay.
And then, yeah, let's go battle phase and attempt to swing Summon Skull over Lajin for 700, and then this for 1,000.
Okay.
Main 2, I still don't want you killing my Wall of Illusions. I'll actually just throw another source down. Just to facilitate things. And then it's back to you.
That's not fair.
I would like to Magic Gemmer and discard from my hand this library.
I'll set one card face down and pass.
Yep. Turn 1 on
Yes.
swords. We're playing, you know.
Swords is bullshit.
Nah, I think we're playing, you know, fun Yu-Gi-Oh here. What saves you here, I'll be honest? Hein question mark? I mean, there's no world in which I kill you this turn, but I'm just thinking of the future. I think still, yeah, I still think I'll like to swing Summon Skull into this.
Haha, it is a Mystic Tomato.
All right.
And then I will search my deck for a card with 1,500 or less attack and special summon. And I will special summon
another tomato.
Mystic Tomato.
Yep.
Just to my deck.
Good. And I will go main 2. Let's set this illusion to defense, and I will pass on that. Maybe it doesn't matter, but in case you find something to pop my swords with, I'd rather do that. So
put that thing in defense, and I set a card. What do I have to pop your swords with? Huh?
Dust Tornado, I think, was in that.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna play Dust Tornado.
Pot of Greed.
My fucking spell speed to piece of shit.
Finally, it's my turn to Pot of Greed.
Man.
What's the back row?
Hero.
It is a Shadow Spell.
I'm kind of disappointed.
I guess let's get rid of the tomato.
Okay.
And screw this. Let's just normal Zombira.
Okay.
Let's set this back to attack. Let's go battle phase.
You gotta attack with Zombira first.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Buy some scrub.
This to my hand, and
Yes.
then this for 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Then main 2, and I will just pass.
Yeah. I was worried you're gonna.
I'm not gonna normal summon twice. No double summon yet.
Yeah. I'm gonna set one card and then I'll just.
Oh, yeah, and let me do this so we know.
Swords is gone.
Yeah, swords will perish.
Now, if you got another swords, I'll be kinda mad.
There's still no blue eyes in your gray, which is happy to see.
Which is kind of bullshit. I'll be honest.
I guess let's tribute. That's actually interesting. I guess let's tribute the wall for Summon Skull.
Okay.
Now you were playing the dragon, so I think this will be the dragon. I will swing Summon Skull into this.
So you remember that card that I bounced back earlier?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're bouncing the skull. Yep.
I'm bouncing the skull
here, and Zombie for 19.
Oh no! You can't do that.
Oh, I forgot this can. Okay, I should attribute this Sombra. My bad. I forgot. I can't do that directly. Yeah, I'll just pass.
Okay, I go standby main, and I'm just gonna.
That's 2 Hain down. Yeah. So send the third Hain. At least now you realistically can't get to discard to hand size for the blue eyes, but there's still tribute and stuff like that. I should have noted how many tributes you were playing, but I wouldn't remember it anyway, so.
I'll just set a card and pass.
Yeah. I'll stand by main. actually pretty interesting. There is no world in which that is the third Hein.
Well,
I will equip Axe of Despair on my Zombie.
okay.
And then I will tribute this archive library for Summon Skull for the third time.
Yeah.
And then I go Battle Phase and swing this for 29.
Yeah.
And then it will
27.
Yep. And then this for 25.
Yeah, okay.
We go main 2 and a pass.
Yeah, I'll take turn. Stand by, main phase.
Your draws have been pretty dreadful, but also I have fired off 2 pots as well. Cause
gonna activate
finally, what a
Tribute to the Doomed.
Targeting Summon Skull, I'm assuming.
I'm thinking.
Oh.
Because, so let's think about this like this. Your Zombira is currently a 2.7k beat stick.
Yeah.
So if I try to destroy him here, well, that's kind of rough, buddy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that is the thing that. Assuming you're trying to Monster Reborn something, you can't do anything with my Summon Skull right now, which is pretty nice for me. So actually, yeah, I do get, since you were actually
I think I'm gonna
that does make sense.
I'm gonna try to destroy the Zombie.
Yep, Zombira is gone.
Okay.
I would have definitely been dumb and just pop Summon Skull myself. I'm not gonna.
And I'm gonna activate Monster Reborn.
Yo.
Targeting Wall of Illusion.
Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, I will actually Magic Jammer this, pitching my Monster Reborn.
Okay. And I was honestly expecting you to Magic Jammer the Tribute to the Doomed, simply because of the fact that if you Magic Jammer the Tribute to the Doomed, I get to take the Zombie using Change of Heart next, and then I get to swing over your Summoned Skull with the Zombie, which makes it a 2.5k beater, and then I can Monster Reborn the Summoned Skull onto my side of the field, so you can't swing with the Zombie over me.
If I didn't have a Monster Reborn myself, I probably would have done that. But since I had the Monster Reborn in hand, I was like, I basically have an insurance, so I'd rather do that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's perfect timing actually. So yeah, let's go game 2. Yeah, I think we are good with that.
And I'm gonna go with first because I'm not stupid here. I'm gonna just set a monster and pass.
Alrighty. Draw stand by main. Normal Zombie.
Yeah.
Battle phase, swing over this.
I'm gonna fetch myself another monster from the deck.
Yep.
I think a tomato would be fine here.
Seems
There we
good.
go.
Yep. I will just set another back row. My first back row, and pass on that. Zombie is 1900.
I go standby main, and you had 7 tools.
The deck does have 7 tools, yes.
Yeah.
Whether I'm running that or not is a different thing.
Active vision. I think if we're considering the fact that we're in game 2, you should probably be running it like that.
Yeah, Zombie is gone.
Dead. And then I attack for 1.4k.
I will take the 14 hundo.
Then I will set 2 cards and I pass.
Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. I will take turn. Draw some by main.
Yep.
I will set, and I will set and And no. Yeah, I'll just pass on that.
Okay, I go standby main, and I activate my top deck, Nobleman across out.
It hurts. It hurts. Yeah. It is Wall of Illusion. It gets banished.
Ooh. Perfect. And then I will simply go face.
I will take another 14.
And then I pass.
Draw symbol main. Oh. Yeah, I think that does make the most sense. I would like to change of heart your tomato.
My tomato. Okay, I'm fine with that. Move there.
Yep. And right away, I would like to tribute it for Summon Skull. Do you have the trap hole? You have the trap hole.
7 tools.
I will actually let it go.
Okay, Monster Reborn, baby.
Monster Reborn, baby.
I'm getting outskilled. No. What do I have for that? I have Trap Hole, I have D-Spell, Dust Tornado.
True. I mean, I will say, like, I had Dust Tornado at 3 in my hypothetical Kaiba build.
I don't think it's worth running simply because of the fact that you can just play more monster removal.
That's fair.
Because, like, more monster removal is what you need. Because, like, you have a 1-tribute monster, and you want to get that 1-tribute monster out on the field every time. So the way you do that is by dealing with either the card itself or the tributes. And I'm trying to make it so that every time you summon Skull, you have to go -1.
Fair enough. I would like to see what that set is with swords.
I'm just gonna bounce that card to the hand.
Yeah, I will take it to my hand, and then I will set this thing.
Alright.
And pass on that.
I'm gonna check something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how big is Man Eater?
Man Eater Bug is 450, 500, 450, 600? I think 450, 600, right?
Okay.
Yeah, 450, 600.
I'm just gonna set a card.
Yep.
And pass.
Yep. Turn 1 on Swords of Revealing Light. Stand by main. What is your back row? It's been there for a while. I will flip summon Man-Eater Bug and pop this thing.
Yep. Goodbye, tomato.
Goodbye, tomato. And then... is it another trap hole? No way, it's another trap hole, right? I would like to tribute for Summon Skull.
That is acceptable.
And then we'll just swing over the Hane.
Okay. Graveyard. There we go.
And back to you.
Then it's standby main. I'm going to activate Monster Reborn. Targeting your Zambira.
I don't like that, but yep, that is fine. Oh yeah, I think you can just pitch.
I'm gonna special summon, and then I will
Rush.
go battle phase. I will attack, and I will rush the Zambira.
You can't attack a swords.
Oh, I can't. Oh, I fucking forgot.
Yeah, you can take you can take the Monster Reborn back.
Yeah, then
I think it's.
But now you know what the thing is, so it's completely worthless. But I completely forgot then.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I blanked on it as well, and then I was like, why did I not? But yeah.
Yeah, I spaced out. Well, I guess I'll just set this card from my hand. Then pass.
Yep.
Sorry. I was like, yeah, that's perfect. This is like literally lines up perfectly because of the fact that it deals with your board, and assuming you don't have another Monster Reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I have to keep playing catch up.
I mean, yeah, that's essentially like these decks. You're basically from turn 1 just playing catch up.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell me what your set monster is?
My set card is Rush Recklessly, yes.
What about this one?
The set card is Rush Recklessly, yes. It's probably Nature of the Black Forest.
How greedy do I want to be is the
I
question.
mean,
yes.
I think you should be as greedy as possible.
True. Swing Summon Skull.
Well, it's the Hein.
Yep. It goes to my hand. Swing Illusion for 1,000.
Yeah.
Me too. I almost set the Summon Skull in my back row. But I'll just... Do I? Does this do anything?
Popping the Rush Recklessly, yeah.
I'll just pass. And Sword is gone after this.
I set this and I pass.
Yeah. And I have no idea what your back row could be, but I think I will pop it here when my source is also gone. What is your set? I remember seeing you played some amount of the Dragon Wall, at least game 1.
Yeah.
So... But it's so annoying, because like... If I sack this, then you can Monster Reborn my wall, and then I'm just... thinking
that's
of
the big
life
play here.
Afterwards, which is the problem.
But that's like 3 cards.
It is
dealing
still...
with that, and I take 1.5k.
I still think this is the play. I will tribute for Summon Skull.
Okay.
And I will swing over this thing.
I will fetch a 1.5k.
Yep.
And I will, in fact, fetch 1.5k defense. Except which?
You can search which. It's just you can only use which ones.
Oh, wow. That's...
Yeah, you can search
silly.
yourself. It's pretty nice.
I will add this card called Hein to my hand.
Yep.
Is that acceptable? Yeah.
That seems good. Let's go main 2, and I will just pass on that. How do I duel with both Hein and Wall if you want to go that line? I mean, I guess draw in the Dark Hole, but then I'm losing Skull.
So, but if you have Monster Reborn, you're winning.
Yeah, I mean that's obvious the thing. But it's not like I would have Monster Reborn. Yep. Targeting. Yeah. Well, yep. You can summon it in defense too if you want.
I'm gonna attack.
It's only if Wall is.
Oh,
attacked.
if
so,
okay. It's not Hyper Hammerhead.
Yeah. I thought exactly the same thing game 1.
Oh, I'm gonna set another card, by the way. I'm gonna set this card.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, yeah, that's perfect. That works out perfectly. No. I'm thinking of Hyper Hammerhead, which is like significantly weaker as a card. But like it's got more versatility.
Yeah.
Because it's an offensive play rather than defensive play. I mean, if you have Monster Reborn, you could just Monster Reborn your Zambura and swing over the Wall of Illusion. And then you get the Zambura back so you can reset it.
I will say, I definitely would have been thinking this hard if I had another Monster Reborn. I will say that.
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, surely you don't have another Monster Reborn.
I actually... It's so... Because if you find Blue Eyes, it's so bad. It's just so awful.
You could just Monster Reborn your Zambura, and you could just Dark Hole. You could just Pot of Greed.
I set a back row and I'll just pass.
We're in there, boys.
Did you get the Blue Eyes?
No.
I don't think you're right. There's no way you would be running 3. So that's fine.
I'm running 2 copies of Blue Eyes.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna set another card and pass.
Oh, brother.
Got a dark hole, buddy.
I'll fissure the wall.
The wall? Okay, the wall is gone.
I mean, obviously, nothing else I can fissure. I would assume... Man. I'll swing into the new set with Skull.
It's up to clocks.
Alright. And then we go main 2, and I will pass.
I will go standby, main, and I will set another card.
Okay. I was afraid there's a change of heart into...
That would have been fucking sick.
Change of heart in the blue eyes there would be... Jesus. Let's go... Zombie,
Yeah.
And how do I want to do this? I think Zombie into this.
Okay, that's an Opticlops.
Yep, Zombie gets set to 19 and Skull into this.
That's the Hen.
Yeah, and it goes to my hand. I'm happy I did it that way then. Main 2, and I will just pass. Only one Monster Reborn used so far by you.
Ah, man.
Okay, that's all 3 Hanes now, so I don't have to be afraid of that, which is nice. So I will...
It's also all 3 tomatoes.
Chew. I will go into Skull, and I will swing into Witch, I assume? Yeah.
Yeah. And which will fetch me the last card, one of the last
Witch?
2 cards. I'm gonna fetch Witch of the Black Forest. Yes.
Yeah, so that's the 3rd Witch. I will just pass.
I go standby.
This sucks so bad for you, because like the deck is so much worse. You're having to play catch up with a... Or like grind game with a deck that's actually like built to play the grind. It's pretty dreadful. I'll just set... Do I set... Actually, I think... Yeah, I can just... I'll just normal summon Sangan. I'll swing Skull into this. Anything you can search with Witch?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Lodging is still there. So you can't get rid of my Sangan, but I will cash in for the 1,000. If you don't mind. And I will pass on that. That's a lot of cards, but do any of them do anything is the question. I wonder if that's good or bad silence for me.
Thinking.
It's fine. Take your time.
Let's go to that.
Alright.
Where are my triple Monster Reborn turns?
I mean, you know, it's about skill. It's about more skill.
Dude, that's bullshit.
Speaking of skill, I think I'll tribute my Sangan for a Summon Skull number 2, if that's fine.
Okay. I'm just gonna take 2.5k down.
Yeah, I will search with Sangan, and I will get another Sangan question mark. I'll actually take Man-Eater Bug, sure. But yeah, I will swing both, and then I mean, I don't know what the hell you could find at this point, I'll be honest.
Change of heart.
I mean, I have this thing. I guess I'll pitch library.
It's just not balanced.
I mean, it's like the decks, because they're not close.
Like, this isn't balanced in the slightest. None of these do anything!
Yep.
Yeah.
And this was my hand, and then the man eater.
Yeah, like, what do I do?
I mean, yeah, it's we established before, but it's like in the past, like there were definitely like some of the decks were a little bit better, but they were really close. But like this time, it's just they just said fuck it and just decided like, yeah, we're just gonna make the Yugi way better because like there's higher quality monsters. There, Kaiba has no fucking way of dealing with Wall of Illusion for whatever godforsaken reason. They decided
Literally,
to
he
give
has
pot.
to go 2-for-1 every time if he
Why?
wants to deal with it.
Like,
Because fuck you.
it's one of the like 17 million questions that I have, but the big thing is, why did they only give this deck Pot of Greed? Like in the past, it's always been like, yeah, it's in both. Like, why suddenly they just decided, yeah, let's just only give it to Yugi?
You know, it would make so much sense if they gave Kaiba Graceful Charity.
Yeah,
Like, it would make so much sense
it would make
because, like,
that one card would make that deck so much better because you actually can now turbo through your deck
use
and
premature
you can,
burial.
Yeah, exactly. You can turbo into those things, but you have
Yeah.
your best way of filling your own grave is fucking Tribute to the Doomed, which you're gonna have to use
Which is
anyway because
shit.
you're trying to play catch up, and it's still you're using 2 cards to get rid of one. So
Yeah. Like, the fact that every single removal other than Crossout and Fissure are 2-for-1s is awful.
yeah, it's these definitely like it would have been really impressive if you somehow managed to win this. I'm happy I didn't choke. I'm happy I actually this time I was the only one getting to use Pot of Greed. Gee, I wonder why. And despite you having both Free Matures and the Monster Reborns, I think I activated more. I think I had 2 Monster Reborns this. Oh yeah, I only used 1, but I had 2 here again. But
And I only played 1 Premature Burial.
Oh,
Simply
okay,
with the
gotcha.
fact that it's too inconvenient to use.
Fair enough.
And I don't have enough monsters to justify that.
Yeah, it's
Because
also,
none of them do anything.
yeah, that's the thing. Like the only thing that you actually want to use that on is your Blue Eyes.
Yeah, and I literally just drew my first copy of Blue Eyes out of the bottom 18 cards after I shuffled. And
Good.
even now, I can't even summon him with this hand.
Yeah, because it's like
Like,
there's just it's just way too inconsistent, and Blue Eyes taking 2 tributes when you're playing against a deck that's half removal and has higher quality monsters is just I don't know.
I think they completely botched the power balance between these two.
Yeah, definitely. Like, because in the past, if you think like, I think Joey and Pegasus, like, I think like the first Yugi and Kaiba were like, I think still Yugi was maybe a little bit better, but it was like
The
literally if
Sunskull.
you're taking like 0 to 10, it's like a 5 and a 6 or something like that. If you take T's, it's like 8 and a 4, 8 and a 3 maybe in comparison, because it's like this one just had basically all the good staples of the time, like MST, Dark Hole, Pot, Monster Reborn, Graceful Charity with Summon Skull. You just have like everything. You have a good 2k walls. For some reason, you got the best beater of both of these. There can't be someone without a tribute in Zombie Era. And it's like the breakpoints and thresholds were so awful for the Kaiba deck, because like Wall of Illusion being 1850 and Zombie Era being 19 even after it's beaten over one thing, I mean, just lodging an optical ops just do nothing.
Yeah. It's just beyond frustrating.
It's really jarring, like how they did this, because like they had a very good grasp in the past, and then now, and especially because it's like you pointed out, the Graceful Charity, like some super obvious things that just felt like, yeah, why wouldn't you just do that? It just now there's no way Graceful Charity was banned at this point, right? No way.
I don't think so. And even if it was, it would be allowed. I'm pretty sure it's a 1.
Yeah, because like at that point you could still like justify like just having it in there. So yeah,
Also,
just
why doesn't Kaiba have Heavy Storm? Because like, if
That's a
Yugi
great
has
question.
Dark Hole, why doesn't Kaiba have Heavy Storm?
and that's another thing. Why does this deck have MSTs and why does Kaiba have Dust Tornado when Yugi is the one that wants to be actively setting the back row and Kaiba is the one that wants to be the aggressor and wants to be popping them like proactively?
Yeah.
I just stuff
I
like that
don't
is just
think-
so jarring.
I don't think they consider these decks as well as they did a lot of other like sets. Like
Yeah.
these two decks feel like they've had less thought and balance put into them than most of the other sets have combined.
Yeah, this
Like,
definitely was the first. Like, I think probably the first time when it's like actively feel there are a lot of like decisions that feel really weird. Because like last week we were praising Invasion of Chaos. Like, okay, they introduced this new archetype essentially, but they also realized like, okay, this is gonna be really good. So they already in that set they include a lot of stuff that can be used to combat the new powerful thing. But then here,
yeah,
when you release two structure or starter decks at the same time, and I think it's pretty safe to assume that they're going to be played against each other. Then it feels really weird and really jarring, some of the decisions they made with the decks.
yeah. It feels like they just purely wanted to give you more of like an anime feel, or Yugi's deck will make it so that you can
Yeah.
use all the good cards he has, and then Kaiba's deck is like now you can lose to Yugi.
Yeah, that's essentially how I felt with these.
You gotta you gotta gamble with your life, boy, if you want to win as a Kaiba. You gotta jump off of a cliff if you lose the children's card game, dude. Otherwise, Yugi's gonna win.
Oh jeez. But yeah, this definitely the power level of the decks wasn't close, but also actually not also, but actually that was all lies. I just think it was a skill issue. I think I just
Oh, yeah, true, true, true.
outmaneuvered you with my plays and my very big brain and immensely talented deck building. So
I do think the fact that you did a Magic Jammer first off, like right away, was kind of a case of, oh, you actually maybe saw through it. But at
yeah,
the same, like if you Magic Jammered that, it would have been like a mistake on your part.
yeah, that was basically like one thing where I was given an opportunity to misplay, and even in the case where I went for it, chances that I do something out of the situation before you did were higher. So it's like,
Yep.
yeah, it definitely like you said it very well. It definitely felt like the Kaiba deck is just constantly playing catch up to maybe match but never surpass what the Yugi deck is doing, and that just feels really bad.
And that's kind of why my entire deck is built to be oh, I'm going to deal with your board.
Yeah,
I must set up a board on turn 1 that can make me survive on turn 3, and then I will deal with your board turn 3 onwards.
yeah,
And if I don't get to that point, it's just me sitting there being like, yep, I play Hain. Oh, you swung over the Hain with something and you have multiple summon skulls on the field? Well, fuck me.
yeah. I guess that's like the thing. Like, uh, going for the grind game, and one deck is clearly just completely built to do it really well, and then the other is there like trying to do what the other is doing. It's just it feels really bad. So, but that's how product is sometimes. Sometimes your deck gets insane support in a set, and sometimes you eat shit. So
Yep.
that's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, hopefully you still enjoyed the episode. Next time we're gonna be diving into Ancient Sanctuary, which at first glance when I took a quick glance at it, I was like, I have no clue what I'm gonna be playing here. But we already also talked about that already a little bit before we started recording, and Jeex brought to my attention a lot of pretty interesting stuff there. So hopefully we can make something cool there and definitely have more competitive decks than we had at this time.
I think next week is gonna be really interesting.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have a genuinely good set of games.
Yeah, I hope so. And I honestly, because like it feels like there's a lot of interesting stuff that's not like incredibly powerful. So it's hard to envision a like real blowout set as we've had like a few times now in the past. And I mean, this was still like we had a good like hard to say back and forth, but like we didn't have a 2 minute game in any of these matches like we had in the past, which allowed us to actually just play one match and have it be a good length here. So that was nice, I guess, but it's still like I would obviously like to have the both sides be about at the same level where both have an equal chance at winning. But that's how these structure episodes will go sometimes, and you know, that's why we do them in a way where the loser of the last time gets to pick rather than the rich get richer. So in an event where I had lost all matches up until this point, this would be kind of a gimme. So
yeah,
but that's how it be sometimes. But yeah, hopefully you will join us next time for Ancient Sanctuary, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you then. Peace.